Hello everyone, what it is, what it does, and what it do. Drake Adams here with another Pokemon TCG Online deck profile. And today we're going to be showcasing one of the cards from the new Fates Collide set. One of the cards that I'm really excited about. It's been doing very well in my testing. I think it's one of the strongest cards in the set, and that is the Carbink Break. Very efficient, energy accelerating Pokemon, and I'll show you the best ways to use it, at least the best way in my opinion, and it's doing really well. Now what it does, if you kind of tilt your head there, is we're going to use that Diamond Gift attack. For one fighting energy, you attach 2 energy cards from your discard pile to one of your fighting Pokemon. So kind of like similar way to like a Manectric attaching 2 energies from the discard pile, except for Carbink Break can attach any type of energies. So obviously we're going to be taking advantage of that and trying to attach strong energies, and it can attach it to itself or to a Pokemon on the bench. So that's really good, especially for 1 energy. Now typically you'll usually see people pair this with something like Zygarde EX, one of the other new really strong fighting Pokemon in the set. But in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of wasted on that. I mean, Zygarde has 3 attacks. He can attack for 1 energy, 2 energies already anyways. So those turns that you're setting him up attaching 2 energies, you could just be attacking with Zygarde, you know. Anyways, it's kind of like why I use this Pokemon line. So I felt like, you know, if you're going to use something a little slower, if you're going to take a couple turns to set up something, you might as well set up something that's really big, a big massive hitter that can change games. And that card, in my opinion, is the Primal Groudon EX. 240 HP, which is really huge, and it has that Mega Barrier ancient trait, which is, in my opinion, the best ancient trait in the game. Whenever your opponent plays a trainer card to that Pokemon, prevent all effects done to it. So basically, when Primal Groudon is on the field, your opponent can't Lysander it, they can't use Enhanced Hammer, Crushing Hammer. You know, like when you're attaching strong energies to a Pokemon, the thing you're worried about is that they're just going to Enhanced Hammer it off or Team Flare Grunt. But Primal Groudon EX says no to all of those things, and that is why I feel like he is so very strong. You can put him on the bench and slowly build him up, and your opponent can't do anything to disrupt that. His attack as well is actually pretty impressive. The Gaia Volcano, 100 damage. If there's a stadium card in play, the attack does 100 more. So, you know, usually there's almost always going to be a stadium card in play, so you're typically attacking for 200 damage, and then you discard that stadium so you can disrupt your opponent. Say a lot of decks, like, you know, if they're using Dimension Valley, they almost always want to have that in play because they want to have like their energy costs, you know, located at a certain amount. Well, we can keep disrupting that by knocking those valleys off, and then they're going to run out of stadium cards to play. So Primal Groudon EX, huge attacker, potentially hitting for 200 damage, maybe 240, can't be affected by hammers, really strong. This is the guy that you want to beef up if you're going to be playing Carbink Break, in my opinion, and I'll show you how that works. So we have the 2 Shaman EX for the draw support, you know, just standard. With that consistency. Now, interesting kind of lineup here. We have a 4-2 lineup of the Carbink and the Carbink. Skipped right over that. Weird Pokemon TCGO. We have a 4-2 lineup of the Carbink and Carbink Break. Now, you want to start off with Carbink, like turn 1, you typically want to have Carbink in your active spot, and so that's why we are running 4, just to increase those odds. We are running the Carbink with the Safeguard ability. You know, some people might remember that ability on Suicune and Sigilyph of yesteryears, long gone. But yeah, really strong ability. I know, you know, the main decks in the meta, you know, aren't necessarily Pokemon EX heavy, like Night March, Trevenant, and Greninja, but there's still, you know, things like Mega Rayquaza, Alakazam, we're see a lot of popularity right now, so you can stop your opponent there. So just give you a little more time to kind of get set up. And then we have the 2 Carbink Break. I know 2 seems kind of low for a Pokemon that you definitely want to have out your turn 2, but since we have cards like Karina to find the fighting Pokemon, this has been working out for me really well, a 4-2 line. Next up, we're running a 3-3 line of the Groudon EX and the Primal Groudon EX. 3-3 line because, you know, you really won't be using more than 2 Primal Groudon EX in a game. Like, if you can set up 2 Primal Groudons, you should be winning. So I'm running a 3-3 line for that. And don't run a 1-4 because if you do start off with the Primal Groudon EX, that is a little bit of annoyance. But we have some ways to deal with that. But 3-3 of our big massive attacker. For the item cards, we're starting off with the Battle Compressor. This card is really important in our strategy because we want to be dumping strong energies into the discard pile and then attaching those with Carbink Break to our other Pokemon. So we're running that Battle Compressor, turn 2, hopefully using 1 to discard some energies. We are running 1 Enhanced Hammer. I mean, it's a fighting deck and it runs Karina, so it's easily searchable, so it's always nice to have that option sometimes just to kind of find some way to slow our opponent if need be. So we're running 1 of those. Now we are running 2 Escape Rope, kind of important in this deck. Escape Rope because, you know, we have some massive Pokemon. The Groudon EX is really big, and if you start with the Groudon EX, you want to have a means to get him out of the active spot so we can start energy accelerating quickly. So because of that, I'm running 2. Normally, you know, you might run 1 just as like some, you know, kind of like movement and switch like support. Here we are running 2 because you really do want to, you know, go switch from him to the Carbink Break in turn 1 if that's what you happen to start off with. We are running 1 Evo Soda, just helps us get into our evolutions. Karina means that you can grab that as well as a fighting Pokemon and maybe do 2 evolutions in 1 turn, which is very, very helpful. For our consistency cards, we are running 3 Trainers Mail, 4 Ultra Ball, and then we run 3 VS Seeker instead of the typical 4. Now that we have N back in, you know, standard format, you find that you don't need the VS Seeker as much to grab, you know, supporters. And I just really dislike starting off like 2 VS Seeker Sycamore turn 1 or 2 VS Seeker Lysander, which happens a lot when you run 4, and then you can kind of just be dead, you know, if that happens. So I'm gonna run 3. Next up, we have the 4 Karina. Just, it's too good not to run 4 of. You know, you grab your Pokemon, grab a Spirit Link, because, you know, you don't want your opponent to be able to put a Head Ringer on your Groudon EXs. So, you know, and then you can also, next turn, you grab maybe Battle Compressor, maybe the Carbink Break Evolved. So, yeah, really good supporter in this deck. 1 Lysander, you know, standard, you know, get those kills when we need it. 2N. 2N for me is good. I feel like that's a good number. I know a lot of people have been, you know, if they didn't really play N before or kind of got into the game a little bit later after N was played, they aren't sure what count they should run. I feel N is good at 2 because what you're going to find is your opponent is going to be playing N as well. Everyone's going to be playing N, you and your opponent, so oftentimes you're kind of benefiting from your opponent playing it. Like turn 1, they're probably going to N if they don't want to discard resources. Sometimes they can be stuck and they need to use it, and you have maybe like 2 cards in hand, and they're like, damn, like I don't want to play this card because my opponent's going to get more cards in hand, but I have to because I'm stuck. So you're probably going to benefit from an N 2 to 4 times in a game, even if you only run 2 of them. So I like to. You can kind of test it out, but watch. You'll see that people are going to be N'ing for you, so you don't need that many of them. Running 2 Professor Sycamore, typically you run more of this card in a deck, but fighting decks, since we are using Karina a lot, and we are using Pokemon lines that we have to evolve to, I don't want to discard too much. 1 Fighting Stadium and 3 Scorched Earth. In this deck, the Scorched Earth gives you a little bit more legs. You know, you want to have that kind of draw consistency that the Scorched Earth can give you as opposed to the extra damage, because when you're hitting with Primal Groudon EX, you're usually one-shotting, especially if there's a stadium in play. It doesn't really matter. You're going to be hitting 200 damage plus, so Fighting Stadium isn't super critical. I feel like having the options to draw, making sure you don't get stuck with the dead hand is more important. Then next up we have 1 Float Stone, just to, you know, retreat a Shaman or something that might happen to get stuck in the active. 3 Groudon Spirit Links, super important to get this on our Groudons ASAP. And then for our energies we have 4 Strong Energy and 8 Fighting Energy. So yeah, that's the deck. You know, just get Carbink Break up early, Energy Accelerate onto a Primal Groudon that they can't Lysander out, and once he's ready to go, you can try to start picking off your plays. So let's go see if we can get a match. Now, obviously it is a big Pokemon. There's a couple turns that you have to set up, so going against Night March is not ideal. It's actually pretty tough to beat the Night March, but for most decks, it's pretty tough to beat Night March. So, you know, those are just kind of the breaks that we have to deal with. So we do see a Psychic deck, so hopefully we can go first. No, we're not going first. If it is a Trevenant deck, then you want to get down your Spirit Links before they can get the item lock in. So we're going to see if that's the case. And naturally, we are starting Shaman with no basics, so it's just perfect. 7 of our basics from these guys, 2 Shaman, but we are starting Shaman. But that's just how Pokemon TCG Online likes to use with their randomizer. You see our opponent starting with Shaman as well. I think they really just probably put in a code to make this guy pop up more often than other cards. Always good times. So, see an Ultra Ball coming from Falcon 360. Ooh, the red card. We actually could have benefited from that red card. And a Hoopa coming down. So we know it's not Trevenant. We know it's going to be a EX heavy deck. Since it's Psychic, I'm guessing Alakazam? Alakazam, Mega Alakazam. So hopefully we can get something going, because we do have a decent... yeah, it is. We do have a decent matchup against Alakazam. But with our hand right now, it's looking pretty dead. So hopefully there's some sort of supporter. Even like a regular energy, so you can use Scorched Earth to try to draw a couple more cards. That could even prove to be beneficial. You see the D-Valley coming down, which is good. So at least, if nothing else, we can start breaking his balance. Try to start winning that war. And here's where the Carbink Break can come in pretty big. So far we don't see any non-EX Pokemon. He probably runs bats or something, so he can slowly put damage on Carbink Breaks. But it's not an ideal situation for the Falcon. So we shall see. And there's that turn. So what do we get on this top deck? Okay, Carbink, not bad. Not horrible, but not bad. Go ahead, retreat into Carbink. Let's go ahead and break the stadium. So at least we didn't bench out. Opponent can just put damage counters just by, you know, evolving, so you can slowly do that process. We'll see if we can get something going by that time. Two going down, 3 to the Shaman. And there's a Devolution Spray. We'll see if he has a Spirit Link on this back one. But even if he doesn't, I'm sure he won't mind ending a turn to get that evolution in. And yeah, as we saw, he's going to end his turn, but put another 20 damage and 30 damage. At least he isn't attacking through that safeguard just yet. And strong energy, so nothing doing yet. I guess we'll go ahead and start, you know, putting some sort of pressure on. 40 damage. And yeah, unfortunately just drew 2 stadiums, Evo Soda, so nothing yet, no supporter, no Ultra Ball. See another, so he's probably going to kill the Shaman pretty soon. The opponent has 2 Devolution Sprays. see if he has anything else in these 2 cards, though. Like, if he isn't using the supporter, then we won't feel that bad. Right now we're seeing this safeguard ability is really slowing him down. So it can be pretty big. Nothing doing right now. I'm gonna keep that Scorched Earth there because, you know, we really need to get some draw. So 1 strong energy or fighting energy can turn into 2 more cards. And right now that's really important. Alright, perfect. Yep, we're gonna have to play that. So there's an N. Battle Compressor as well. Now, what we're going to do here, we're definitely gonna play the Carbink. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and play the Scorched Earth because we want 2 more cards for our Ultra Ball. Awesome. Okay, we definitely want to keep the Versus Seeker for the end for next turn. So we are going to play an Ultra Ball. Damn, I really want that Battle Compressor. But right now the Spirit Link is more important. Spirit Link is definitely more important for us. So should I get 2 more Primal Groudons? Okay. And we're gonna get in a Diamond Gift. Slowly start to build up this Groudon EX. Next turn we can evolve and then end again, and then yeah, really try to start to load up this Primal Groudon. So we have a big dead hand. Our opponent's probably going to be able to get some kills just by doing his devolution sprays and evolving. But I mean, that's okay. He can get that kill. It's going to be tough for him to attack through the Carbink Break. So if he wants to do 20, you know, 3 more times, then that's going to give us time to figure things out. Oh, good to know that he runs a max potion. Interesting. We see 3 energies in the discard pile already, 2 devolution sprays. So that, I mean, a good thing, I guess, if we can get through all those early. Okay, there's an AZ. Really happy with that. Happy he's using AZ on the Shaman and not on something like a Mega Alakazam or like a Crobat line. So, and here's a Spirit Link. Oh yeah, so they're the bats. The bats are going to be pretty key in helping him manage this. Okay, so that was really good for us. Really good. We're going to go ahead and break that as well. And go for another N. We're going to give him 2 cards, but gaining 2 to our 6. I'll take that any day. Go ahead and use a Trainer's Mail, another Karina. I'm gonna go ahead and use that Evolution Spray just to get him bigger. Attach the energy there. Diamond Gift. Nice. Do 60. Put a little bit of pressure on this Hoopa. Now, next turn we can do a Battle Compressor to get a couple strong energies in, and we'll just use that 1 more attack to get the Primal Groudon ready to go. And we'll Battle Compressor a Lysander as well. Okay, so see that to get the kill, which isn't ideal, but he didn't do it to the Carbink Break, so he still has to deal with this Safeguard Pokemon. Town map. So bats. So the bats can help them, but they won't be game changers like Versus Seekers or Lysanders. So hopefully that works out to be not that good of prize cards. And we see a Versus Seeker going for an AZ, so maybe going for the Golbat. Oh, or no, he doesn't need to move the Hoopa because it has a Floatstone on it. Kind of curious to see what our opponent does. And another stadium, so we're gonna get rid of all these stadiums pretty soon, which is good. But then that means we won't be having, yeah, we only have 1 more stadium on our end, so we're not gonna be hitting for 200 damage. Okay, so we do see an AZ going down on the Alakazam. Gets rid of a Spirit Link, but does mean he'll be able to put some damage on this Carbink. Probably start loading up this Groudon. Oh no. Because he finds the Carbink to be a bit more of an issue. Which I can't blame him for that. And swoop across. Alright. Let's go ahead and use... The Carbink is kind of nice. So if he's at 4, that's going to be 3, 2... Go ahead and try to get this show placemat. Do we have any... No. I'm not seeing any mystery energies on him right now, so we'll just go for the Battle Compressor as planned. Put that down. Give our opponent another target to have to think about, like, oh, should I grab that? Should I not? And there's a two strong energies. How many more fighting energies do we have? Yeah, we'll go ahead and dump them all, just in case we have to use an attack later. There's a Seeker. No versus Seeker there, but we'll take the Sycamore. And alright, Diamond Gift. Cool. Now a little bit slower than we would have liked, but you know, sometimes you open up with hands that are dead, and that's just kind of the way it is, unfortunately. See the energy going down to the Mega Alakazam. And another AZ. This guy plays a lot of AZs. 2 AZs. How many Versus Seekers has he played? Just one. I thought he played more than that. That's alright. Okay, so 2 AZs down. Want to bring out more Alakazam. Now I guess Mega Alakazam coming into play will kill this Carbink, and it'll put some pressure on this Carbink. We'll see if he puts pressure on this Carbink or if he starts to prepare for the Primal Groudon. Nope, going after the Safeguard. So Safeguard is taking a lot of his attention. Now we're going to get rid of this Valley, so he'll have to play another energy, and we aren't in a 1k knockout range. And we could go for an N to take him down to 3, but I think I'm going to save that. Let's go ahead and get the kill. Take out his Batman, get rid of the stadium. Escape rope was actually pretty nice right here. So you can do a hit, but luckily 10 damage is not going to make him do too much damage on us if he doesn't have another line ready to go. So he can't do an evolution right now. We do see another energy come down, but that's okay. Force him to play these energy lines. And we could... yeah, let's go ahead and use the N here. Let's get him lower, see if we can draw to that final stadium. And awesome. Now, since this was a strong stadium war early on, this is the last stadium. Last time we're going to be able to one-shot. So that's something we're going to have to keep in mind. But having him down, no Links on board, no Spirit Links on board, I'd say he's probably not in the best position. And we can get one-shots on Shamans if we need to, even without the 100+ damage. Let's see, we don't have a Lysander in the discard pile as of yet. Evolution Spray coming out. Put 30 damage on this Carbink. All he needs is one more Devolution Spray. We're going to be in a problem. So, I think what we're going to do is force him to bring out... I don't really want... This guy can be causing him to be stuck, so... Let's Let's go ahead and Karina. We need to come up on a Lysander pretty badly. So we do see a Lysander's there. We do see a Versa Seeker's there. Guess we'll go Trainer's Mail. Trainer's Mail. Do we get lucky? Negative. We don't get lucky. There's a Shaman. We don't really mind playing the Shaman here. Because we have to search. He's setting up to get his kill pretty soon. Primal Groudon EX is in killing range. Carbink is in one more evolution, de-evolution range. So we're trying to get in position ASAP. So not bad. I guess we'll just go ahead and take the hit here. Strong energy there. Question is, does he have another Devolution Spray? And how many energies does he have left? See, 7 energies. So that's a good amount of energies played already. Oh, well, I guess. Oh, he didn't get the Super Rod. So he must be set on energies, or else the Super Rod would have come in big. I'm assuming that's going to be another AZ. Now we'll just have to see what our opponent grabs. So, picks up the Shaman for draw. So I guess he's looking. Well, we know this. He's done with valleys. He's probably looking just for energies. But he needs to get 2 energies on this Mega Alakazam to do what he needs to do. Okay. Wow, he plays 2 Super Rods. Interesting. That's a lot. Haven't seen that yet in the Mega Alakazam deck. So that's cool. Getting a good look out at some of the new cards in the set. Mega Alakazam versus Carbink Break. So now just be, can we get our kills before our opponent can get 2 energies on this Mega Alakazam? We can kill this Hoopa this turn. Oh, the Zubat. Oh, so he must have a Crobat in hand. That's what I'm seeing there from that play. And a Max Potion coming out. How do we want to play this? Nope. Hitting that won't be a one-shot. Still hasn't been able to Mega Evolve yet. So we'll just go ahead and keep on putting the pressure. Let's see, he's played three Devolution Sprays. So there's 1 more Devolution Spray left. Has a couple more Versa Seekers for AZs. It's getting pretty tight here. Pretty tight. Fortunately, you know, once again, we did have that really slow start, but them be the breaks where there's the Zubat coming down. Still no Lysander. If we had a Lysander, that would be perfect. Oh yeah, he does it with Spirit Wind. I guess this is what we can do. We're going to go ahead and retreat to a fresh Primal Groudon. Hit for the Gaia Volcano. Now we're down to 1 prize card. It's gonna take a while to get the kills on that, but you can just, you know, evolve to do that. But luckily you can't Lysander that out. We have the escape ropes to get a Shaman out. So we'll see if he decides to put the damage on the Shaman. Okay. So Carbink is down. See what he grabs. Crobat would be a little slow, but he may not have option. Maybe Ultra Ball. Nope, he does go Crobat. And here comes the Mega Alakazam. But we have 0 damage counters, so he cannot kill us. And we don't have... Still looking for that... I guess a Lysander we're going to kill on the Zubat, so we're going to go ahead and search for that Lysander. Actually, let's just kind of look at the deck really quick. Don't need any more Groudons, so let's discard those. So let's see, we have a Primal Groudon, Energy, and we have 2 ES Seekers, Lysander, so we're looking pretty good. 8 cards, so we go down to 1. And the next turn draw our last card. It sounds kind of risky, but I think we have it. But then again, I guess we aren't really in that much of a crunch. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and go for game. If my accounting is right, there you go. Go ahead and put that energy on the Shaman. Guy have Volcano. We go down to our last draw. We Lysander, I guess a Golbat, because he can't go into Crobat. Should have the win there. Puts the 2 damage counters there, which is fine. Would have been worse if he put it on the Shaman. 3 damage counters. So at 50, I don't think he's killing our Primal Groudon yet. I think he's a little short because of our 240. Unless he can evolve that. But we don't see a Spirit Link on there right now, so we aren't too worried. And we see a retreat. And there we go. Wow. To the last card, to the final. We Lysander out. That Golbat with a super slow start. Primal Groudon. It's too strong for him. He Mega Alakazam with a horrible start. Typically it's much faster. I apologize for that, but you can see why Primal Groudon is so good, not being able to Lysander it out, pick off kills when you want to, and Carbink Break when you don't dead draw immediately and can put 2 strong energies into the discard pile, then yeah, it can be really good. So yeah, hopefully you guys give it a test, see that it runs a bit smoother than, you know, typically what I showed there, but really, really fun. Really good Pokemon from Primal Clash, Primal Groudon EX, and this Carbink, I think it's going to turn out to be one of the best cards in the set. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys stay tuned for some new decks coming up from the new set. As always, if you like and subscribe, that will definitely help out our channel. And you can leave comments below to see what other decks you guys would like us to showcase. We have a couple more coming out. But yeah, we always want to get your input. So yeah, hope to hear from you guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.